Hello, I'm John Hartledge. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to go to Italy, specifically Tuscany, and we're going to talk about Chianti Classico. Let's chat wine. So north central Italy, Tuscany to be exact, one of the most storied wine production areas in the world, Chianti Classico, but the town of Chianti. And the wines from Chianti are comprised primarily of Sangiovese. Now, back up the clock about 5 decades, 6 decades, 7 decades. The wine was not just Sangiovese, but a blend of Sangiovese and about 3 or 4 other grapes, 2 of which are white. And the reason why, old winemaking techniques just resulted in red wines that sometimes were a little astringent. Sometimes the pressing techniques, whether it was feet or with older pressing units, would just press the fruit so much that sometimes the seeds would release acids and extra flavors that were a little more astringent. The roots, the stems, all of those extra things that come along, not the roots, sorry, but you know what I'm getting at. Just all those things when you're pressing those together, sometimes it can be a little tart. And so the winemakers would use a little bit of white grape to go with it. It was 3 reds and 2 whites, one being Trebbiano. And I know that name is maybe familiar to some of you. Also a great little white grape. We'll definitely do a segment on Trebbiano from Italy, also known as Uni Blanc in France. But the Chianti Classico now, with modern techniques and a lot cleaner approach to how the grapes are pressed, and you can control how much squeeze you put on those grapes. So cleaner winemaking techniques, a lot of stainless steel and fermentation. So cleaner fruit, cleaner wine. In this case, 95% Sangiovese, all red grape with a little bit of Merlot. Actually, about 5% Merlot thrown in to just kind of soften. So the Italian government and the bodies who govern what grapes can be used in Italy in these different provinces have relaxed a little bit, and they've allowed some other grapes like Merlot and Cabernet to be used. But in this case, I would refer to this as a Sangiovese blend, but it is a Chianti Classico D.O.C.G. And I have talked about D.O.C.G. on other episodes, and we've talked about Italian wines. This is the highest origin rating that a wine or a winery can get from the Italian government and the governing body that controls and oversees wine production. And that governing body really is trying to preserve some of the traditions that have been long established in Italy, that certain grapes are defined by certain villages, by certain areas around the whole country. And those grapes became known for those regions because they grew best. And there were traditional styles of wine that were made from those grapes. So they want to preserve some of that. In order to keep certain names on your label, you have to be overseen by the government. Now, the sky's the limit. All kinds of different grape varieties are being produced in Italy that were never produced before. And that's a good thing. The winemakers love having that breadth of ability and availability. But when you want to make a traditional one, the government's going to control what grapes are in there. So nowadays, if you see Chianti Classico, you can be pretty sure that you're getting a Sangiovese-based wine, or almost all Sangiovese. So I can't wait to taste it. And also a nice little thing, if you notice on the label, there's a little rooster in the circle. That's a classic Italian government designate for a Classico and a Reserva and D.O.C.G. wine. And I love it. When the capsule comes off like that, I know that I'm clean here on the top of the bottle, that nothing none of the wine has been pressed out of the bottle, and pressed out for different reasons, whether the wine had frozen in transit, and wine has a lot of water in it, so water expands when it turns into ice, and then when it thaws, there's more volume, it presses the cork, so we have none of that. There's no wine, nothing. Nice and clean capsule, and a very clean bottle itself. So we're gonna take the cork, and this looks like I think this is a pressed cork, but I'm still gonna smell. Nice, neutral, maybe a little bit of wine smell on there. So I love reading the back of wine labels to see what the winemakers are saying about tasting notes. Sometimes it's the marketing department, sometimes it's the winery, and usually it's a nice conversation with the winemaker. So they're saying richly structured palate of red berry, licorice, and spice. Let's see. So right out of the bottle, this is at the time of recording this video, I want to say we're maybe 2 years in the bottle. Oh, this is a nice aromatic. Yeah, it's fresh. A little bit of cherry, maybe just that there's this little bit of tart fruit happening. So I'm seeing maybe the raspberry. I'm not getting a licorice or a spice yet. And that may come out more when we aerate. So, at first glance, with no breath really on the wine other than here. Oh, there it is. Oh, wow. So the aftertaste just got hit with a little bit of licorice. Now, I may be influenced. I may have gone into a little hypnosis mode. Once you read, you can't help be influenced by a conversation or something. It's just part of the us being sensual beings, and our senses play so much into this. But I did get that little bit of maybe cinnamon, maybe licorice, still a little mysterious to me. But the initial hit on the palate is classic of what I think of as Sangiovese with this. It's not tart, but it's the feeling of acidity in a good way, which makes Chianti so beautiful as a complement to so many different foods, and just, well, particularly Italian food. But the northern Italian fare has some sheep-influenced cheeses, so you get some nice cheese flavors. Certainly cream sauce, but not heavy. The foods in northern Italy, of course, are a little more rustic and at the same time hearty. And this is perfect for those kind of foods. I think I'd like to give it a little bit of breath, so I'm actually going to grab another glass, and let's give it a little breath here. Let's see what happens. That's my Venturi. Bernoulli's principle in action. Love physics where beverage is concerned. It's really cool. So we are functionally aging the wine at serving time because we just forced air into it with that wonderful device. And you can do the same by just using a carafe. Tilt the carafe, slowly pour into that carafe, and that act of pouring also will aerate nicely. And that's why you see me. I'm spinning, spinning, spinning. I just got this crazy thought. Let's keep swimming, just keep swimming, so just keep spinning, just keep spinning. Already on the palate, softer, still has enough acidity to give it backbone, but just really soft, beautiful little cherry, not hit with any big herbs, but I would say exquisite. And I've always loved this producer, Rocca delle Macie. Rocca delle Macie. Long history, fabulous wine, and really excellent value at around that anywhere from $11 to $14 price point. I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. First, subscribe, because I know I'm feeling like we're having fun here. We got a lot of viewers coming online. We're close to 100 subscribers at the time of filming, so we're going to do something special when that happens. So subscribe, sip, particularly only if you're over 21, and share. Don't forget to ding that bell because that'll send you a notification when we put up a new video. Until next time, let's chat wine.